everyone? It's Ty Slatter, and welcome to another edition of GTA's ISO Mode. If you haven't already followed GTA Sports Network and GTA Heat Check on all social media platforms, like, comment, and subscribe to GTA Sports on YouTube, and don't forget GTAsports.com for all things in the world of sports. Today's ISO Mode is about the San Antonio Spurs. We're going to break it down why they're one of the most slept-on success stories of the summer. All right. First and foremost, Victor Wembanyama. Only played 2 Summer League games. First game was a little shaky. He hadn't played basketball in about a month or so. Been doing a lot of, media runs and, just getting comfortable in the States, first couple weeks. Had a little Britney Spears run in, a little brush up, but they squashed all of that. Basically a welcome to the USA type situation. But his second game, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, shot 9 of 14 from the field, 7 of 12 from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they drafted him for. What he did in that second game is what they drafted him for. The NBA is already set to put this man in the Rookie of the Year conversation out the gate. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure he is not a bust. I mean, think about it. Coach Gregg Popovich signed a 5-year extension. Okay? Now, you're probably thinking, so what's the story on that? Well, you got to understand. Gregg Popovich is 74 years old and has been a part of the San Antonio Spurs since 1996. Or has been the head coach at least since 1996. His coaching career started in 1973. The man has been coaching for 50 years. 50 years. So out of his 74 years of living on this earth, he's been coaching for 50 years. Okay. You might not appreciate what I just said if you don't understand the game of basketball. When you have a coach, a mastermind of a coach that has been around the game and has watched the game evolve for 5 decades, greatness is inevitable. Now, what they also have done to insulate Victor Wembanyama, and yes, for those who don't know how to pronounce his name, Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama. All right? So, you podcasters out there, get it right. Wembanyama. Okay? Another way they've insulated this potential Rookie of the Year. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, David Robinson. 4 legendary San Antonio Spurs players, Hall of Fame, if you will, have all been in this guy's corner, have gone to go see him, flew back and forth from France and back, have made sure that he has the support system in San Antonio to ensure that he is a success, another success of the Gregg Popovich machine down in San Antonio. Does this mean that San Antonio is going to win a championship in the next 4 to 5 years? No. And shout out to Antonio Turner over at Heat Check. We actually talked about this recently. Does that automatically put San Antonio in contention? No. And the reason why it doesn't is because, let's be honest, I'm about to break down the current roster. It's young, developing. There's no true superstars on here yet. Victor being a rookie. You could consider him their superstar, but let's be honest, I mean, it's too early. He has to get his NBA body together. He's young. He got to learn the games, coming over from Europe. So it's going to take some time. All right? But you got Jeremy Sochan. You got Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Zach Collins, Devontae Graham, Devin Vassell. Just to name a few of the main guys that you'll see getting a lot of PT. Then on the bench, you got, of course, your vets, Doug McDermott, Georgie Dang, who's the cousin of Luol Deng. He's basically a journeyman at this point in his career. Forgotten players you haven't heard from in a while, Romeo Langford, Kim Birch, C. Osman, who just had a decent season in Cleveland. They scooped him up, as well as Lamar Stevens from Cleveland, who, he's still developing his career. He's still young. Of course, they drafted Julian So as a shooting guard. So again, it's a nice, healthy mix of veteran leadership in the front office on down. You got rookies, you got prospects. I mean, it's a healthy mix. But you're in the Western Conference, so let's not sleep on the fact that the Western Conference is extremely competitive. If anybody knows this, it's Coach Pop. I do believe that the San Antonio Spurs will be competitive in the next 5 years. I just don't see them winning a championship in the next 5 years, being realistic. As long as the Lakers are the Lakers, you still got New Orleans. You still have Houston's on the come up. I'm going to do an isomo about them, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, GTA Sports, for that. But just to wrap this up and put a ribbon on it, I like what I've seen in Victor. Considering he hadn't played ball in about a month, them 2 games basically showed me the reason why he was the #1 pick. But I'm also going to do isomos for the Portland Trailblazers, Scoot Henderson, as well as Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Miller, because I believe at this stage right now, and I had to actually address this over on Threads, so make sure you follow me on Threads if you got a thread. Of course, it's Ty Slatter, just like everything else. I had a debate with somebody because they had a start bench cut for the top 3 prospects. So, of course, they have Victor, Scoot, and Brandon, or if you want to do the correct order, it was Victor, Brandon, Scoot. But my start bench cut was a little controversial to, bandwagon guys and casuals, right? I said I would start Scoot Henderson, I would bench Brandon Miller, and cut Wemby. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why am I cutting Wemby when this isomo is about Wemby? The isomo is about the San Antonio Spurs, and he was the #1 overall draft pick. I'm doing it based on skill set right now. Victor has to develop. He's a European player who has to learn the NBA and how to play. Scoot Henderson, for those who don't know, played 2 seasons with G League, Ignite. So he's got the NBA experience already, and he has the build. He's always been built. They show footage of him as a kid. He's always been strong. He's had a frame. So he's coming in with an NBA body. Brandon Miller, he's got the college experience. So the college and NBA game aren't that different at this point. Everybody's jacking up threes, fast break, 7 to 10 second offense. They don't use the whole shot clock anymore. So again, Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson are more prepared for the NBA than Victor Wembanyama coming over from France. So at this stage, because the question was basically based on right now, I believe Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller have a better skill set for the NBA right now. Victor has to catch up. Where he has the advantage is he's, obviously, the #1 draft pick for a reason. I mean, if we want to break down, the vitals, I mean, he's 7'5", he's 19 years old. So he has the highest ceiling out of all 3 of the prospects. And he's 7'5". As long as he can, master his jumper, we're talking about a 7'5" Kevin Durant. You can't stop that. Who's going to guard that? Giannis ain't even 7 feet. And he's big for his size, but he's not 7'5". So right now, Victor is going to get banged around a little bit. Obviously, I expect him to, have to get banged around a little bit when he gets out there on the NBA court for the, full season. But if he develops in conditions with the Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, the Admiral David Robinson, Manager Ginobili, whose playmaking and facilitating abilities is legendary, and Tony Parker being one of the greatest point guards in the history of the NBA, criminally underrated, but he is a Hall of Famer. He has all the right tools and the mastermind Gregg Popovich to lead the way. So I do believe that he'll be a success story coming out of San Antonio as long as he can stay healthy and build up his body to NBA standards. This has been another episode of GTA's ISO Mode. Make sure you follow me at Ty Slatter on social media platforms. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to GTA Sports on YouTube, and follow GTA Sports Network and GTA E-Check on all social media platforms. It's Ty Slatter, and until next time, take care.